Men, listen. If you're dating at 35 and beyond, the rules didn't just change, they evolved. What used to work at 22 will quietly waste your time now. This might sting a little, but it could save you months of confusion and a lot of self-respect. Beat. We're discussing behaviors that can show up in unhealthy dynamics, not generalizing to everyone. Use this to spot patterns, set boundaries, and choose healthy relationships. Here's the uncomfortable truth. At this life stage, most people, men and women, carry more context. Careers are real. Families exist. Divorces happened. Energy and time are finite. Attraction still matters, but what counts is how both of you manage trade-offs. If you treat dating like an endless experiment, you'll collide with someone who's measuring time in different units: stability, alignment, and bandwidth. Once you see this recalibration, you can't unsee it. You'll start recognizing timeline tension, compatibility audits, and energy budgets long before they turn into drama. Think of dating over 35 like flying an airplane at dusk. The gauges are more important than the view. Feelings still count, but instrument readings, values, schedules, long-term goals determine if you land safely or circle the runway until you run out of fuel. That's the mechanism men miss. Life stage recalibration. The chemistry is the spark. Compatibility is the flight plan. Ignore the flight plan, and you eventually hit turbulence you could have predicted on the ground. Where most men get blindsided is timeline compression. Some partners at this stage are done with seeing where it goes for 6 months. They want clarity. Not necessarily a ring by Friday, but a sense that your lives are steering in the same direction. If you mistake clarity for pressure, you'll either sprint into promises you can keep or bolt at the first honest question. Neither ends well. The smart move is pace plus purpose. I watched Daniel, 38, meet S, 36. The spark was instant, dates were great, and by week 4 she asked, "What are you looking for?" He panicked. He heard a proposal speech. Pause. But that was not what she said. She was doing an early compatibility check. Do we value similar things, or are we about to invest in a mismatch? Daniel stalled for 2 months with, "Let's not label it," and she moved on. 6 months later, he admitted it wasn't pressure that scared him. It was his own lack of clarity. He wasn't ready to lead the conversation he wanted to avoid. Here's a translation moment you'll see a lot. She says, "I'm not here to play games." That could mean, "I'm willing to invest when it's mutual, but I won't hang out in ambiguity." Verify it by watching actions. Do conversations feel open and grounded, or are you pushed to commit under a ticking clock you didn't agree to? Respond with, "I move intentionally. I don't rush labels, but I don't waste time. Let's check alignment this month and decide together." Calm, clear, no games either way. Another pattern that looks romantic at first and complicated later is the compatibility audit. At 20, talking about values sounded heavy. At 35 plus, it's maintenance. You'll hear questions about kids, geography, faith, finances, lifestyle, and even elder care responsibilities. None of this is an attack. It's due diligence. If you treat every serious topic like a vibe killer, you'll look unserious. If you dump your 5-year spreadsheet on date 1, you'll look rigid. The sweet spot is confident curiosity. Be willing to ask and answer with composure. Here's how the audit shows up in the wild. She says, "Where is this going?" Could mean, do we share the same end goal in general? Verify by asking, for you, what does going somewhere look like over the next 90 days? If the picture is all external pressure and no process, that's a yellow flag. Respond with, "I don't overpromise. If we keep enjoying this and our values line up, we can define it. If they don't, we end with respect." You just set a frame where clarity is welcomed, not feared. Now notice what happens when the past is still present. Over 35, you're often not just dating a person. You're dating a schedule, a co-parenting calendar, and a history. None of that is inherently a red flag. In healthy dynamics, it's context. But context changes logistics. A last-minute Friday invite might be romantic to you and impossible to her. If you interpret scheduling realities as low interest, you'll start self-sabotaging with stories that aren't true. Amir, 41, started seeing M, 39, who co-parents 2 kids. He assumed her limited Friday availability meant he was a backup. Instead of asking, he pulled away to avoid being second choice. When he finally did ask, he learned she alternates weekends and keeps weeknights for homework and dinners. Once he understood, he started planning Sunday afternoon dates and one midweek coffee. Interest grew, not because he tried harder, but because he tried smarter. Logistics were the problem, not attraction. There's a related translation you'll encounter when life is full. She says, "I'm tired, can we rain check?" Could mean, "I maxed out this week, not checked out of you." Verify by noticing investment elsewhere. Does she propose an alternate time? Follow through on texting? Stay engaged? If yes, respect the bandwidth. Respond with, "No worries, let us shoot for Wednesday at 7. I'll pick a place near you." You just turned a cancellation into leadership and flexibility. A quieter pattern that trips men up is the energy budget. At this stage, time is currency and energy is the exchange rate. Many partners juggle projects, family, fitness, and friendships. The way you manage time signals maturity. Flaky plans read as chaos. Over-availability reads as neediness. The move is simple. Build a rhythm that respects real lives. 1 anchored date a week plus 1 spontaneous moment is better than 3 rushed meetups that drain both of you. Let's talk about safety, because the word gets thrown around carelessly. In healthy dynamics over 35, safety means emotional steadiness, honesty, and follow-through. Some men hear safe and think boring. Wrong frame. Stability is attractive when it's paired with curiosity and backbone. If your version of stability is suppressing opinions to keep it easy, you'll feel like a doormat, and chemistry drops for both of you. Steady doesn't mean soft. It means you say what you mean, you keep your word, and you can disagree respectfully without turning it into a contest. That brings us to the pace mismatch. At 25, moving fast often felt exciting. At 35 plus, moving with intention is exciting. It looks like this: date with focus, check alignment early, increase intimacy gradually, build rituals. Too fast, and you create a bubble that pops. Too slow, and you create a gray area that drains hope. The fix isn't speed, it's rhythm. If you're uncertain about pace, narrate your process. I like where this is going. Let S keep building and talk exclusivity if it keeps feeling right over the next few weeks. When you say that calmly, you give structure without pressure. You'll also notice non-negotiables get clearer. It's not stubbornness, it's experience. People in this stage usually know what breaks them and what builds them. Respect that, and have your own. If relocation is off the table, say so early. If you're done with chaotic texting, model the standard you want. If faith or family practices matter, don't hide them for weeks then explode when they're violated. You can't negotiate core values into compatibility. You either share them or you don't. A practical point men underestimate: signal-to-noise management. Over 35, there's less appetite for unproductive ambiguity. If something minor bothers you, resolve it quickly. If something major misaligns, don't try to intellectualize it into a fit. You're not failing by walking away, you're protecting both people's time. The line between persistence and self-betrayal is thinner when your calendar is full and your energy is finite. Let's make this tangible with 3 inflow translations you can use right away. She says, "I'm not ready for labels." Could mean, "I need more data before exclusivity." Verify by watching investment, consistent time, curiosity, and effort. If those are missing, you got your answer. Respond with, "I'm open to building this," and I don't do pretend exclusivity. Let ES keep dating intentionally and revisit in a few weeks, or we can part ways now with respect. She says, I need a man who can lead. Could mean bring initiative and a plan, not control. Verify by trying simple leadership. Propose a time and place. Check dietary needs. Book it. Respond with, Saturday, 7 p.m., Italian on Oak. I'll grab the reservation. If you prefer another spot, tell me. She says, I don't want to waste time. Could mean, please don't string me along. Verify by clarifying horizons. What does not wasting time look like to you over the next month? Respond with, I don't waste time either. If we're aligned, we'll move forward. If not, we'll end clean. You might be wondering why these patterns feel stronger after 35. Psychology suggests a few forces converge. Priorities shift as careers stabilize or transform. Risk tolerance narrows. People are less willing to gamble months on relationships that don't fit. Social comparisons increase via peers' marriages, divorces, or second chapters. If kids are in the picture, the calculus changes. Scheduling and safety become central. On the upside, emotional maturity can be higher. Many people communicate more directly, know their triggers, and appreciate small consistencies that a younger version of themselves overlooked. This is good news for men who can stay calm and clear. Your steadiness becomes a feature, not a footnote. But steadiness isn't silence. The biggest trap for men is trying to be agreeable as a strategy. Over-accommodation disguises insecurity as kindness. Real kindness includes honesty. If you can't make Thursday, say so. If you need time to think about exclusivity, say so. If something feels off, address it once, then watch actions. You earn respect not by performing ease, but by pairing empathy with boundaries. Here are 2 boundary lines you can keep in your pocket. Use them verbatim if needed. I don't make relationship decisions under pressure. If we're aligned, we'll both feel it. If we're not, I'll wish you well. And my time is already full with work, family, and health. If we keep seeing each other, I need consistency and honesty. If that's hard right now, let's pause. Short, respectful, final. You're not punishing. You're protecting your calendar and your mind. Let's build a simple grown man plan you can run on autopilot. First, define your non-negotiables before the first date. Not 100 preferences. 5 or fewer realities you won't bend. Second, narrate your pace early. I like to meet once a week and add more as we click. Third, align on key life logistics by date 2 or 3. Geography, kids, lifestyle, and deal-breaking schedules. Fourth, choose steadiness over intensity. Open doors, follow through, end nights well, and don't text into oblivion at midnight. Fifth, keep your routines. Gym, friends, family. A healthy relationship integrates into a healthy life. It doesn't consume it. If you want a quick checklist to sanity check your path, run this quietly to yourself. Are we genuinely curious about each other, or just filling time between responsibilities? Are our calendars compatible enough to create momentum? Have we talked about the non-negotiables that matter to both of us? Do our conflict styles de-escalate or spiral? Are our words and actions aligned on both sides? Is this relationship expanding or shrinking my life, energy, health, friendships, focus? If most answers trend positive over a month, you're building something. If not, you have your answer without a fight. Luis, 42, learned this the hard way. He started prioritizing intensity, late-night texting, back-to-back dates, future talk in week 2. It felt like a movie montage. By week 5, both were exhausted. When he reset to a healthy cadence, 1 quality date, 1 light touch point, things improved. Not because the spark was stronger, but because the rhythm was sustainable. Intensity is easy. Sustainability is attractive. There's one more place men over 35 can lead: clarity around kids, money, and exes. If you co-parent, say when introductions would happen, usually well after exclusivity. If money is a stress topic, set expectations calmly. I like to treat, and I also appreciate balance. If an ex is still in the ecosystem due to co-parenting or business, describe the boundaries you keep. You're not performing transparency. You're showing you think like an adult. That's magnetic to anyone else who thinks like an adult. You might be tempted to turn this into rules. Do A, get B. Resist that. The point isn't to control outcomes, it's to lead your process. If the connection is real and the logistics align, clarity will feel calm. If the connection is real but the logistics fight you every week, you have a kind answer. We're both great, and this isn't workable. That sentence has saved more dignity than any hack I've ever seen. Remember that early line about timelines? Here's how it flips to your advantage. When you hold your frame, clear pace, honest boundaries, steady actions, you remove hidden negotiations. If someone needs more speed than you can give, they'll self-select out. If someone needs more ambiguity than you accept, they'll drift away. The ones who stay are the ones who fit your actual life, not your fantasy. That's the quiet win after 35. Less noise, more fit. If you've been out of the game for a while, start small. Update your photos. Write a bio that says what you want in one sentence. Healthy, drama-free connection that grows with intention, and then prove it by how you show up. Date like a man with a full life, not a man waiting to be rescued from his calendar. That energy is rare, and rare is attractive. Men, here's the choice in front of you. You can keep treating dating like a highlight reel sprint, or you can run a grown man playbook that values clarity, pace, and compatibility. One burns bright and fades fast. The other builds slowly and lasts. If you want the second, lead with calm. Ask better questions, keep your boundaries, and let time do its job. The right person at this stage doesn't need fireworks every week. They need proof that your words match your days. If this helped, subscribe. I'll keep giving you scripts, checklists, and frameworks so you can date with clarity and protect your peace. Beat. See you in the next one.